brings you here today?
I'm having some, I would say college issues.
College issues, like the school, professor, the workload, or
Well, I mean, I come from a family that, I mean, we don't really believe in loans and everything, so I was always brought up to pay outright for everything. And so I've been working, I'm in my third year now at Baylor, and I've been working, paying for school, but it's just like the course load is kicked up a little bit. And I mean, it's almost like I can't keep up because I still have to work full time to be able to afford to go to school. And it's just starting to become a little bit too much.
so? How many hours are you taking?
Well, I'm trying to get back on track to finish. I took a little break. I was supposed to take some classes last summer, but I didn't get a chance to. So I'm taking 16 credits right now, as well as working 40, 45 hours a week.
So the workload is it's like really heavy. It's like almost too much sometimes.
Yeah, I'm just overwhelmed. I mean, it's like I don't have enough hours in the day.
You were talking about, you had mentioned that you don't want to take out loans. What is the reasoning behind that? Like, is it more of a pride thing, or?
Well, I mean, not more of a pride, but I mean, growing up, everything we ever had, I mean, we paid for it outright, and we just tried not to accrue too much debt over time.
So but there's other options, there's other alternatives. There's grants, there's financial aid, not necessarily student loans, maybe you can get some type of scholarship. Is there some things you've been looking to get into?
Yeah, but my parents make too much money per year, so I mean, I've applied for some, but I've been denied because of the amount of money they make, but they won't help me with my school.
So are you paying for everything out of pocket? Are you paying for everything out of pocket, like books and tuition and stuff like that?
Yeah, everything, books, tuition, room and board, I mean, meals. I don't have any financial aid other than what I make.
Is there anybody that can help you out with, like, family members and stuff like that, or friends that you know of that can help out?
I mean, if I asked them, maybe they could, but I mean, I don't feel like it's their place to help me.
Why do you feel like it's not their place, even though it's friends or family?
Well, because I mean, it's not their school, and so why should they have to pay for me to go to school? That should be my responsibility to figure out a way to finish up school.
So what's the goal? What is the plan that you think that to be able to finish up school and get your degree while at the same time as working? What's the plan? Although you're trying to work to pay for school, but it's almost like it's like a little bit of give and take. You can't finish the way you want to finish, or you can't work the way you want to work. So what's
I mean, I was thinking about just giving in and taking out a small loan, and to continue to work, but not as many hours, so that I can get, I mean, just enough hours to still be able to give full attention to all my studies and coursework while getting a little supplemental income from the student loan, I guess. So it would give me more time to study, and hopefully my grades and GPA will come up, and maybe I'd finish on time or a little bit earlier.
So the plan is to maybe take a small loan in worst case scenario to help out, kind of supplement the tuition and stuff, because obviously going to Baylor, obviously that's a very expensive school, and then you have labs, or you have textbooks and all kinds of other stuff that you possibly might need. So although a small loan is not going to cover everything, it'll kind of help you get through it, right?
Yeah, I mean, but just over the past 2-3 years, I mean, I've just been working so hard not to take out loans, so it's kind of like, to me, I almost feel defeated that I'm forced to take out a loan. Because I have some friends, they come out of school and they have $90,000, $100,000 worth of debt that they have to pay back, and it's almost like you're working minimum wage.
So the plan is to take the loan out. Let's see what we can do with that. Try to finish up school and then repay it back as quick as we can. So we don't have to worry about interest and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So another problem you talked about was you kind of like battling a little bit of like substance abuse. How's that going?
Yeah, I mean, it started out as like recreational marijuana use, but it's kind of ballooned into, I mean, habitual use. I mean, it's not okay, but I mean, sometimes I feel like that's the only time I can relax, so I can get away from all the stress that I have going on at work and at school.
So the stress kind of dictates how much you'll do and when.
Yeah, it's more of like a equalizer for stress. So I mean, depending on how stressed I am, it does depend on how much I use and how often, what times of the day, of course.
Do you feel like that's the only way to be able to handle your stress is doing that, or?
I'm pretty sure there are other ways, but I mean, it's the only way I've come up with that actually works pretty decently for me at the time. I guess I could try and explore other avenues, but I'm just so cramped on time. I really don't have too much exploration time anyways.
You work out, maybe play some sports, some type of physical activity that kind of you could possibly do?
Yeah, but I mean, it's more of a mental stress than a physical stress. Because I mean, I can go and work out, but the whole time I'm working out, I mean, I'm still sometimes stressed out.
So how long has this problem been going on? How long have you kind of been battling it or dealing with it?
Well, growing up, I mean, I was always told that I couldn't play sports because I needed to focus on my studies. So my whole life I would put off sports, and I was told I couldn't hang out with my friends because I had to study, and so I was pretty much forced to study. And I mean, I was stressed about it in high school, and it's just starting to become more so in college. I mean, it's too much for me to try and keep up with on my own.
So trying to handle college, the financial part of it and work has become something where it's just tough to deal with, huh?
Yeah, it's just above and beyond what I thought that I could deal with.
So how do you think we can get past this? How do you think that the goal of the treatment we can do to rid yourselves of the problem? Because obviously it's not one that's going to be beneficial long-term wise. It's like a short-term answer.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I have to deal with the problem, which would be my stress, and I guess try and find another more positively recreational way of dealing with stress.
Are there other people that you do it with, or is it just by yourself, or?
Yeah, that's how I got a lot of my friends. Just because of, I mean, when you're a nerd and you're always studying, you really don't have a lot of friends, so you spend a lot of time studying by yourself. So that's an avenue to how I got a lot of my friends now. So of course, I mean, some of it has to do with stress, some of it just has to do with keeping in touch with all my friends. And sometimes I really don't feel like it, but I mean, just because I'm hanging out with them, I kind of indulge anyways, just kind of fit in.
So I think part of the problem, or one of the treatment programs, not really programs, but ways that can help is maybe kind of distancing yourself from friends that kind of partake in that. Because the way I see it is like they kind of help you with that. They may not necessarily put it in your mouth, but they kind of influence you to do that or encourage you.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you feel like you could give them up?
I mean, without them, I mean, I really don't have any other friends other than them.
But don't you see that they're kind of hurting you in that way by exposing you to more of that or keeping it a regular habit? I feel like if you get rid of them, then it might help out a little bit better.
That is true, because I mean, sometimes I only use when I'm around them. Sometimes I really don't feel like it, but just because of the people I'm around.
So I recommend maybe if you just maybe distance yourself, not just cutting them off completely, but like maybe if you hang out with them 2 or 3 times a week, maybe hang out with 1 or 2.
Kind of tone it down a little
Tone
bit.
it down a little bit, and then eventually distance yourself. And then if they question you, you can always say, "Hey, I'm just trying to get my life back on track. This is really not a good avenue for me," and then see how that goes. Because in a sense, it'll affect everything else that's about you, your school, your work, and everything else.
Yeah.
You had also talked about a relationship issue with your dad. It's been kind of strained. I don't know if it's been recently or it always has been. How's that going?
Well, Dad's a pretty tough guy, and I mean, he's always he's always tried to make me as tough as he could. So, I mean, he didn't really care for me that much. Because maybe I look a lot like my mom, but he was always real tough on me, and I mean, I feel like he would mistreat me and kind of talk down on me, and he's mean to mom, and so I mean, when I was younger, I saw it a lot, but I was too small to do anything about it. So I mean, he'd yell at me, he'd yell at her, and sometimes he'd hit me, but I couldn't do anything about it when I was younger.
How did that make you feel at the time when he hit you or yelled at you at that time?
Made me feel pretty bad, like I wasn't worth anything, or like he didn't love me.
How does it make you feel now?
Honestly, I still feel the same, like he wishes that I wasn't his son.
So how do you think there's a way that we can kind of repair that or rebuild it to get it to where you're at least cordial with them? Because eventually, this situation is going to come up to where you're going to have to kind of interact with them.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in school for almost 3 years, and it's been the same story since then. I mean, we'll talk to each other on holidays, maybe Thanksgiving, Christmas, and I'll call him on his birthday, but on my birthday I won't hear from him. So I mean, I kind of just sweep it under the rug. It's kind of like it'll solve itself.
So I think one of the best ways you can do is maybe sit down and talk with them and kind of really try to get into the underlying reasons of why he's been this way for so long. I think being able to talk with him and express how you feel toward him, will kind of maybe bridge that gap to where you can actually talk to each other. Is that something that you think you could do?
I mean, I think it would take a little bit of building up too. Cause I mean, I feel like he doesn't want to see me, and it kind of scares me. So I don't really want to see him too much.
But do you feel like not wanting to see him is kind of like making it worse and keep pushing you further and further back, as opposed to trying to make that jump to want to repair that relationship?
That could be the case.
Now, you had also talked about your work schedule, honestly, at the beginning, telling them about your college, about your work. How's that going? Because you said you have 2 jobs.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying about school, it's a lot of work to keep up with. I mean, one of them, I work for the school about 15 hours a week, and then the other one, I work with one of my cousins. He works in a warehouse, and I mean, he just kind of pulled some strings to give me the job. But I've been there since pretty much the day I started school. And I mean, it was a lot of work back then, but in my first 2 years, some of my classes were easier. But since I'm getting towards the end of my schooling, I mean, it's just, the classes are just above and beyond, and difficulty is turned up. It's just like, I just don't have enough hours in the day.
So what is the answer? What do you see, like you being able to keep both jobs, or do you think you're gonna have to cut one loose, or?
I mean, since I've kind of given in to where I feel like in order for me to successfully finish my schooling, I need to drop one of my jobs and work part-time and just accept the fact that I need a loan to finish school in a timely manner, and then just focus more on school than work, because I mean, work's always there. One thing I've noticed is school is of the utmost priority right now.
So one of the reasons why you take this job is that you just need some extra income, right?
Yeah, because I mean, I would really ideally like not to have to use, I'd really like to not use loans to finish out schooling, because I mean, I prefer not to be in debt when I get out of school. But as long as I feel like talking to you, I mean, I think it's a necessity for me to finish in a timely manner. So I'll just cut it up and take a small loan and try and control the amount of the loan, so that I can focus more on my school.
I think that's a great idea. I think if you focus on taking the loan and focus on the school, I think all the other little issues that you have, like almost like a treatment plan, will help out with the substance abuse, and then the job situation, not to fill you so spreading yourself too thin. And I recommend that you maybe sitting down with your dad one day when you feel like you can talk about that with you. And we'll talk about that next time when we have our next session.
Is there any chance I can invite my dad to the next session?
That would be great. All right, thank you.
Thank you.